All right, so we are back online. For those who was on the teleconference, blah, blah, blah. For those on the live stream, check your emails in a few minutes or a few seconds, and you should get the link to the service for the stream again. So now we're going to pick back up. Say it again. Somebody say something on the teleconference. Oh, okay. Shalom. The thing is when somebody hangs up. Oh yeah.
Let's go to the user chant. And then go to the user chant, you'll see whatever it is. Everyone is live.
Come on. All right. Let's keep going while we're working on these issues here. We'll try to streamline this as we move forward. Making sure we have a better way, keeping the stream or figuring out what's the best way of going about this. Pardon us if we if this is breaking up a bit. I would say the best thing to do is make sure you have a teleconference line on. Probably just mute it if you're following on the live stream, and then if it goes down, you can pick back up on the teleconference. Kun.
Is that something that they had to do, or it was something that they suggested?
No, this was something that because we live stream. This way, it also allows us to record the things that we put out for the holy days. So this is just something we're trying to see if it's a good thing to move towards or not. Figure out what's the best way of managing it. Con. To send out the link because it's not linked it into the web page yet. We haven't figured out what's the best way of linking it into the web page, so you don't have to keep getting the link. We can just have it already pushed through automatically. Click on that. Con. So now we're going to go back to Revelations 4 and 5. Salak. Revelation. And I'm going to reread verse 5 and go into 6. It says, and one of the elders saith unto me, weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book, 7 seals thereof. And I beheld of the throne and of the 4 beasts, and in the midst of the elders stood a lamb, as it had been slain, having 7 horns, which are the 7 spirits of fourth earth. Is telling the behold of the Lion of the tribe of Judah and the root of David have prevailed to open the book. And then he goes and looks and is like, oh, and he witnesses and sees the Lamb, which is Yahweh Shai, as it had been slain or crucified, right? Standing there with the 7 spirits, right? He's seeing in the midst of the 4 elders, in the midst of the 4 beasts and the elders, he's now seeing Yahweh Shai standing there with the 7 spirits of the 7 angels, right? So now you see, okay, now the worthy one is here, right? It says, and he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. So now these elders, these angels have now brought Yahweh Shai to the Most High to take the book, right? Remember, back in Daniel's, the 7th chapter, go back there real quick. Daniel's, the 7th chapter. verse 13. Hold on. Daniel 7:13.
And I saw in the night vision, and behold, one like the sun, the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him.
So now he says he saw in the night vision. So it was in the nighttime when he had this vision. He saw who? One like unto the Son of Man, because it's a vision. That's why when it says one like or the likeness of, it's still talking about the individual, but it is now a vision of Yahweh Shai. It is a vision of the Ancient of Days, so that nobody can trip and be like, hold on, how is Daniel seeing the Most High? I thought the Lord said no man can see the Most High and live, but he's seeing him. This is a vision, right? And in the vision, a lot of times they don't see even the Most High's face. They see the glory and the remnants and the glowing and the fire and everything proceeding. They can see his garments, but to see the distinguishing features of the Most High, you can't do.
The image of it.
Yeah, you can't do.
Like a shadow.
Right. It's not going to come. Right.
Cool.
So they seen one like unto the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven. The clouds of heaven is representation of who?
God.
Nabiyah. The angels. Because the clouds, when we was reading in Ezekiel about the four beasts, if you read further on, we didn't go through it all in its entirety. It was teaching about the wheels, and they all had them, which are the chariots, right? And they all move and follow the angels wherever they go. So now in these chariots, it's just not empty. The angels are there. So now with the Son of Man came the clouds of heaven, which is talking about the angels. Then it says, and they came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. Now remember, we were just reading that they was like, yeah, there's nobody worthy enough. Because we can't get to the salvation. We can't get to the end until the one that's worthy enough can come open up the book. Once the one that comes worthy enough to open up the book, then we can now get to the prophecies. Then we can get closer to our salvation. He's supposed to be the one. So they now came and brought Yahweh Shai to the Most High, right? The one that was slain. Daniel is seeing this in the vision now. Verse 14, it says, and there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom which shall not be destroyed. So he's seeing Yahweh Shai, knowing that this is what is set up for him. The glory, the dominion, the kingdom, everybody reverencing, all that is set up for him. No one else could come and stand before the Most High but him. So it was like, Michael, can you do that? Nah, Michael can't do it. Gabriel can't do it. The four beasts can't do it. 24 elders can do it. Who can do it? Yahweh Shai. Where is he? We got to go get him. He all went and got him. And then now they come and they see this Daniel sees the pomp and circumstance of them now all coming and leading him to Yahweh Shai. Right? So now as John is seeing it, he's like, who's worthy enough? Don't worry, John. He coming. We going to get him. And now Yahweh Shai comes and is taking the book out of the Most High's hand and is breaking the seals. So that all these prophecies that Daniel was speaking about with these four kingdoms, these four beasts, that Ezekiel speaks about, that all these great, Ezra speaks about, because Ezra spoke about these same Greek empires and the Caesars and all that. Now it could come to pass. That's going to give us closer to the salvation, right? So now he's seeing the same thing. In Daniel 7:13 to 14. So now, go back to Revelations 5 and 8. So Revelations 5 and 8, it says, and when he had taken the book, the four beasts and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials of odors, it says in the precept, or incense, which are the prayers of the saints, right? So these angels assist in bringing the prayers from the saints to the Most High, right? So there's angels all about us. So when we're somewhere praying to the Most High, the Lord has eyes everywhere. The angels are everywhere, and they come and say, here's what Zakar was talking about. This is what he's asking. Here's what Gabar was asking about. Here's what Hadassah was asking about. These angels take and bring them to the Most High. Go to the 8th chapter, same book of Revelations. Revelations 8 and 3.
And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given to him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar, which was before the throne.
Right. So now he's saying that before the throne is an altar. And like in the temple, there's incense burning in the temple, right? So when the Most High says you got to have the lamps burning, and then that they're supposed to burn a certain type of incense that the Most High told them what the meat and ingredients was going to be, that had to burn in there. He even said that even before the Ark of the Covenant, you had to burn the coals before they to put the smoke up. That was going on in our temple, but in the Most High's temple, there's smoke and things going there too. They got to burn incense as well. Now, before the prayers could be presented, it says that these incense had to be burned, right? So that the smoke can fill even in the Most High's throne or before his throne. Read on.
Verse 4. And the smoke of the incense which came with the prayers of the saints ascended up before God out of the angel's hand.
Out of the angel's hand, right? So the angel is the one that comes and brings the prayers of the saints, the righteous, before the Lord, right? So that the Most High can hear or hearken unto it. And then it is the Lord's decision on how he wants to respond and send the angel to go and fulfill or to go and aid or to go and do whatever it is that the Most High determines, right? This is how the order is set up. Let me see. Go back to Isaiah, the 5th chapter. Back to Isaiah, the 5th chapter, and I'm going to read from 3 down to 7. Isaiah chapter 5, I'm sorry, it's chapter 6. Isaiah chapter 6, verse 3 to 7. And it's good. I took these 3 different accounts to show how similar they are. Isaiah's vision into the heaven, Daniel's vision into the heaven, with John the Revelator's vision into the heaven. So what John seen, he had 2 other witnesses that seen the same thing throughout time or different periods in time, right? So now in Isaiah 6 and 3, it says, and one cried unto another, these are the 4 beasts or the seraphims, right? Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts, the whole earth is full of his glory. And then it says in verse 4, and the post of the door moved at the voice of him that cried, and the house was filled with smoke. So we just read that they got the incense burning in the temple or before the throne of the Most High. So now as Isaiah saying, and what did he see when the post opened up? The house is full of all smoke. In the vision he's seeing this, right? Verse 5. Then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. So as he's now seeing it through the smoke, it's like, oh, man, I see what's going on here. He's like, I'm not worthy to see this. I'm a man of unclean lips. I'm defiled. I'm sinful. I come from a people of sinners. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be seeing this. Verse 6, then flew one of the seraphims, because it had the 6 wings, right? Flew over to him. It says, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken from the tongs from off the altar. And he laid it upon my mouth and said, lo, this has touched his lips, and thy iniquity is taken away, and thy sin purged. So you know this is a vision, because he went and took a coal off the fire and then came and put it on his lips and said, all right, now you're good. Now your sins is purged. So you know this is a vision that was showing that this was symbolic, to shows that whatever he had done, his sins have been forgiven. Now he had been cleansed to be able to see what was going on in the heaven, or at that time and hear the discussion that was about to happen with the Most High and the angels, the good and the evil angels. Yahweh Kanan.
I wonder if because also that what goes on in the priesthood there, as long as the priest or the Kohath supposed to be there,
Oh.
into like an ordinary person.
Hold up.
To see the incense burning and so forth in the temple.
I don't understand you. Say that question. Say it. Repeat that again.
No, I was thinking that he may even think about what the priest is only the priest was supposed to do certain things in the temple. And he may see that and realize that he's just ordinary, not supposed to be really seeing that. But also he's seen a vision too.
Right.
But he was probably thinking about that too. I was wondering.
Well, I mean, he wasn't in the actual temple. He's seeing in the Most High. And if you have understanding, you know that the order of the Levitical priesthood doesn't apply to the Most High's realm, right? That there is no Levitical priesthood set up in the realm of the Most High. Remember, Yahushua is our real high priest right now. He's seated at the right hand of the Most High as the high priest, as the King of Kings, as the rightful heir. But that order is not up there like that, because there are all angels. Those are all angels up there that do what they do. So all of that, as far as for the prayers coming up from the incense, it's the angels that's bringing it. It ain't, one from the sons of Aaron. This is the angels as being the angels that's doing all of this. He just was feeling that, hey, I'm not worthy to see this, right? And that's why a lot of times when you read the scriptures, they have to be seeing a vision, because if we were physically there, it would destroy you. You couldn't maintain it. So you just have to see a vision, because that is their glory to be in that realm. It is uncorruptible, right? You can't be corrupted. You can't be in a certain manner when you enter into that realm. Same thing when the kingdom of the Most High comes. It says nobody can go in there mortal. You got to be immortal. No one can go in there corruptible. You got to be incorruptible. So imagine in the Most High's realm, you got to be a person that's immortal or uncorruptible. You can't be doing any sin or going against the Most High. No. So Isaiah, now seeing this, he's like, listen, I'm a man of unclean lips. I shouldn't be seeing this, because I got sin with me. I'm corruptible. I probably just did some craziness the other day, right? This is the Most High's realm. I know that this shouldn't get up. But then he said, don't worry about it. In this vision that's being shown, you can see them. I got my hand over the thing. It seems, but in this vision that's being shown, you are worthy enough to see it. It's not physically the Most High, but it's a similitude or vision of the Most High of what actually goes on or is going on in that realm. All right. So now we can stop there. I just wanted to bring out as far as for the smoke that he saw up in the Most High's realm before the Lord as they're having their discussion. So that was Isaiah 6, 3 to 6. Did I read down to 7? Yes. Yeah, 7. Isaiah chapter 6, verses 3 to 7.
Okay.
Come.
I can just please repeat the verse. Just let him say.
Because he's trying to annotate all the scriptures to post up on the site and to give to anybody else. So now are you caught up? Okay. So now we have Revelations 5 and 9. It says, and they sung a new song saying, thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. For thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to power by thy blood out of every kingdom. So like out of every kindred and tongue and people and nations, right? So paying attention to the wording. These are the celestial, these are the angels in heaven who at one point in time, not all of them, some of them the archangels, but like the 24 elders and the rest of the angels that's there, they were once in the earth. So listen to the wording on how they describe Yahushua. It says, and they sung a new song saying, thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain and has redeemed us. Who was the ones that's supposed to be redeemed? Israel.
Right.
But when you die, your spirit goes up. You're like an angel in the Most High's realm. But they still realize that what Yahushua had done was to redeem Israel, to redeem us to the Most High by his blood being shed, right? And to bring us out of every kindred, tongue, people, and nations. That's the big stumbling block, because people think about that this means for everybody. But this is not talking about everybody. It's talking about Israel being scattered throughout all people, kindreds, and tongues, speaking their languages, following their customs, calling themselves after them, right? Yahushua died so that we can get there. That was Paul's ministry, to go out to the Gentiles or amongst the Gentiles to reach the Jews, to bring them out of that madness, to bring them out of those false customs, to come back to the customs of Israel. So you'll read this when we get to Revelation, the 7th chapter. It says the same thing, that these individuals, when you jump to Revelation 7 and 9, which says, after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and peoples and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. See, it says of all nations. See, you guys always talking this Israel stuff. Says the same thing here in Revelation 5, of all nations, right? But we were scattered in amongst all nations.
Yeah, that's why Esau figured that that's about him.
Huh? Not only Esau, all of the nations.
Yeah.
That gives them.
Figured, like that's why sometimes I ain't say no about the Bible. When they you know, they wrote the Bible. When they put stuff like that in the Bible, that's why white people say it meant for them too. That right there, that statement, that's my first right there. White men think that means for them.
So you can link this with Acts, the 2nd chapter and the 5th verse. Acts, the 2nd chapter and the 5th verse.
You want to go there?
Go on.
Acts 2:5. Go with me? And there was dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under the heaven. Now when this was noised aboard, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language.
Hold up. Go back to 5. Read 5 again.
And there was dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven.
Out of every nation. Who was in every nation? Jews. So when it says of all nations, kindreds, it's Jews that's of every nation, because the Jews were scattered amongst the Gentiles or amongst the nations. And then you read on, it speaks about them speaking in those languages of the nations. So when Paul went out, he had to go to these Gentiles. Let's get a quick reference. Go to Acts, the 21st chapter. Acts 21 and 19. Acts 21 and 19.
And when, let me know you get this. And when he had saluted them, he declared particularly what things God and walked among the Gentiles by his ministry.
Right. So now they're speaking about Paul and what things he was doing. It says, what things Yahweh had wrought by among the Gentiles by his ministry. So the Gentiles is the other nations, right, that he went to. But it's not that he went to the other nations. We're about to read who he actually went to. Read.
And when they heard it, they glorified the Lord and said to him, thou seest, brother, how many thousands of Jews there are which believe, and they are all zealous of the law.
So now stop. In the 19th verse, they use the word Gentiles. It says, what things Yahweh have wrought among the Gentiles by his ministry. So if you'd have left that alone, you'd have been like, oh man, he says on the Gentiles. But the Lord had it even better, gave us the clarity. Don't you see, brother, how many Jews there are among the Gentiles that believe and are zealous of the law? He didn't say, see how many Egyptians, see how many Edomites, see how many Elamites. He said how many Jews there are that are among the Gentiles, letting you know that the ministry was for those Jews that are of the nations. Read.
Verse
21.
And they are informed of thee, that thou teach all the Jews which are among the Gentiles to forsake Moses, saying that they ought not to circumcise their children, neither to walk after the custom.
So now they need the clarity on what Paul was doing. When he was amongst the Israelites who are among the Gentiles, they trying to figure out if you teaching them that they ain't got to circumcise themselves, right? Because you know you're teaching about this circumcision that, you know, if you circumcise, it don't mean nothing. If you ain't circumcised, don't mean nothing. They need clarity on this, Paul. What are you teaching the Jews that's out there? So that's clear. Gentiles is Gawarium or nations. So when the now is seeing this ministry being taught, he's letting it known, yes, out of all nations, kindreds, and tongues, languages, this are the Jews who are now coming back. That's what John the Revelator is speaking about. All right, so that's Acts 21, verses 19 to 21. Is everything all right in the teleconference? All right. So we're going to go back now. We have Revelations 5. We have Revelations 5 and 10 now.
That's a nice cut you read there in Acts 21.
Mm-hmm. That's
So,
real clear to now get a distinguishing factor of who they were actually talking about.
and then back in Acts 2, you know, it's not related, but in Acts 2, when you read down, it says, how do we hear every man speaking in his own tongue wherein he was born?
Mm-hmm.
That's a Pentecostal church cut right there.
Right.
The tongue in which you were born.
Right.
Babies don't do the boom shaka kind of stuff.
Right.
So where's that come from?
Right.
The tongue in which we were born, in his own tongue.
Right.
So what is this speaking in tongue that they got?
So it's like, you know, Jews who was born in Haiti, they may speak French. Jews born in Puerto Rico, Spanish. Dominican Republic, Spanish. So you have Jews who are born in different areas. Maybe in Germany, speaking German, right? Maybe in certain parts of in Lanham Ham, speaking whatever language they speak, right? Because they're speaking their native language, which they were brought up in. Usually, in order to survive and to communicate, you got to learn the language of your peers and those who are around you, right? Most people throughout the earth are forced to learn the language of English because that's who's ruling. America is the one who predominantly rules the earth, right? So now everybody, you go to these foreign cities, you're going to have pockets of someone being able to learn and speak English, right? They ain't learning French, they're learning English. That's the priority, right? Especially for most of them who want to come to America and make it big, right? Even over in the Ishmael's world, they know a bit of English. because they now even have to converse with the enemy sometimes. No, you got to stop. You're wicked for doing this, right? America ain't got to learn that language. They only learn that when they want to decipher what's going on, right? But they are forced to learn English. And you see that especially a lot in a lot of third world countries. Yeah, what can I?
Remember Joseph, he went to Egypt and he learned to speak Egyptian.
Exactly. Yep.
He was able to speak to them.
Yep.
He learned it.
Joseph,
Yeah.
Moses, he was learning all the ways of the Egyptians as well.
Daniel and Ezra and Mishael too.
Yep.
So they learned the wisdom and the tongue of the Chapt.
Mm-hmm. Gone. So now back in Revelations 5 and 10, it says, and has made us unto our power kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. So this is the same thing that John said in Revelation, the 1st chapter. And the is it Revelations 1 and 6. Right? And you can go through those precepts that we did the last time we did Revelation, the 1st chapter, to show. And 6 was speaking about Israel, and it's the same thing here. The Lord was going to make Israel, those who was taken up out of those nations, peoples, kindreds, and tongues, to be now kings and priests in the earth when the prophecy is fulfilled. Verse 11. And I beheld and I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne, and the beast, and the elders. And the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000, and thousands of thousands. Right? So that's a lot of angels that's in the heaven. Right. 10,000 times 10, was that 100 million? And then you still got thousands of thousands. Right. Just like when we read in Revelation, the 7th chapter, talking about a number that can't be counted, like a number that no man can number. That was representation of Israel, because it was always known that you can't number Israel. Right? You can't number. No. If you put a third of Israel in one place, a third of Israel, right? It would be difficult for somebody to go to a football stadium and say, I'm about to count everybody in a football stadium, right? That's way more than the football stadium number to say the third of Israel. Ain't nobody manually just sit up here counting all of that. That's why I said we like the sand on the seashore. We like the stars in the heaven. Can't count them. It's innumerable. So don't even try. Especially knowing that it was a sin for us to even try to number Israel. You got the 144,000 and you got the 1/3. What, you want the complete number? You want to try to figure out the complete number of everybody? Nah, you can't do that. You're not going to number Israel. So it's innumerable. Yahweh Kanan.
Sometimes they try to do the census.
Yes.
Right? They try to do it. Like kind of like Black Americans, and,
right.
You know, and some people don't even take it.
Right. The spirit has it. The spirit has it where they'll never get the number. They'll never get the number. Much as they try, right? Some of them are too afraid to even come in certain neighborhoods, true, right? True. and even those who do get the paperwork, they ain't filling it out accurately, right? They take it, throw it in. What do you want? Sorry, sir. And they gone. Or they taking it as is and they writing down estimates. They getting an estimated guess of who they think or how many people they think are in that neighborhood, in that apartment, in that project building.
You know, also, they got 10 people there.
All right, exactly. Because you know we're even in the worldly mind in our wickedness, we still a bit circumspect about the system. We still a little bit like, man, I ain't telling them anything because I don't know what they're gonna use it for. They saying it's gonna be good so we can get some funding, but I believe otherwise. I think they're trying to get a count of how many people actually is in the house. You know, I'll be putting people on my earned income credit, and I think they're trying to find out if those kids is mine and everything else. So it's shaking hood is a bit circumspect. They ain't really about to disclose and give out everything that's going on. So they ain't gonna never, the spirit they ain't gonna never get the whole number. Yeah, exactly. All right, because then you start saying you got 5 in your apartment and you got 5 in your apartment, but you now putting her kids on your income tax and vice versa and everything else. That's going to jam everybody up. I ain't saying nothing. Exactly. Hold on 1 second, Nabiyad and you.
Read a link.
Con.
Psalm 68 and verse 17.
Con.
Psalms chapter 68, verse 17. You just write it down. It reads, the chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai in the holy place.
Con. So it's going to be a lot of angels that are going to be present in that day, right? Lots of angels. For those who are standing before the Most High and those who will be let loose to partake in that day, it's going to be a lot. All right. So now back in Revelation. Oh, Salat, Ahawab.
RS man came by and they wanted to know the dependents. So he put down extra dependents. They only had like 3 or 4 children. His wife was like going over to the neighbors trying to get the neighbors' kids and say these are the kids that he put down.
Yep. You don't want to. If you can get money, you get money. You don't want to mess up the money. So you talking about $3 grand, $3,500 for each child for earned income credit? You don't want to mess that up. Exactly. So now back in Revelations 5 and 12, it says, saying with a loud voice, worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing, right? So it's the same thing that Daniel seen when they brought Yahushua before the Most High, and they gave him the dominion and the glory and the rulership, right? And they were thankful for him because he's able to receive all his honor based on him laying down his life. Verse 13, and every creature which is in heaven and on the earth and under the earth and such as are in the sea and all that are in them heard I saying, blessing and honor and glory and power be unto him that sitteth upon the throne and unto the Lamb forever and ever. Right? So this is something that's going to be manifested when Yahushua comes back. Right? Every eye shall see, every knee shall bow. Everybody is going to bear witness to Yahushua's preeminence, his power and his glory in that day. So John is seeing it. Daniel saw it. And the other apostles, prophets saw it. But now it's going to be made manifest. Every eye is going to hear of him. And everybody's going to have to bear witness that he is the Messiah. And he is the prince and the king in the earth. Verse 14. And the 4 beasts said, amen, or so be it. And the 24 elders fell down and worshiped him that liveth forever and ever. Right? So they said, so be it pertaining to Yahushua. And then they also worship the Most High who liveth forever and ever. All right. So now that concludes Revelations chapter 4 and 5. And then in a few weeks, we'll conclude and go back into it and get into some of the seals in the next 2 chapters. All right. Next week, it's a lot. I believe the bar that the court. I think like I'm down to 9. The power court. Yeah. Okay. So next week we're going to be in the Apocrypha. We're going to be in the Apocrypha, and we will be in the book of the Song of the 3 Holy Children, and the history of Susanna. So we'll be in those 2 books in the Apocrypha. 2 good stories. All right. Also, so reminder for everybody that's listening, Passover will be Monday night. For those who are coming, please try to get there early. We are definitely have to start early. We have it from 8 to 1, so we want to get there and have the service start by 9 o'clock, the latest, so that gives enough time to go through the service as well as partake in the feast and then also do the cleanup. All right, so try to get there as early as you can. Doors open at 8 o'clock. All right, and we will start the service, Lord's will, 8:30, 9 o'clock. Again, start trying to get the leaven out of your homes, and start marking the things that you need to get out of your homes. If you are able, start eating it up. You know, Kahan was wise enough to bring a lot of the leaven and things that you may have around, the snacks and stuff in the home, and bring them here, so it just didn't have to be thrown away. You can eat it, right, and then have it rid and clean from the house. And start looking into the ingredient, because sometimes you're remiss over certain ingredients. Khan, do we still have the Passover meal digital? Okay, Khan. So Khan Nabiyah was able to already send that out Wednesday night. Check your emails for what certain names, what things are do's and don'ts. If you forget, it's a good point of reference sometimes, because, you know, we do it once a year, and then throughout the rest of the year, we get caught up with the regular stuff that we deal with and eating foods that either we prepare or that come from restaurants and things of that nature. So just do a quick rescan over that document. In that document, it is advised or urged that you try to be as natural as you can, right? It's not law, but it is urged, as advised, what we used to do before was try to be as natural as you can, which means if you can't eliminate a lot of things that have preservatives, you know, you read the ingredients, you may not see things that have leaven, but you see just like a paragraph, right? If you could try to minimize that and get things in its natural state, that will make sure that you kind of forced to cook things day by day for the feast. If you're able to, then do it, but definitely make sure that you remove all leavening agents, vinegars, and things of the like out of your homes. All right. And if you can't remove them from your homes, as some people are sharing homes with people who do not follow the truth, then just try to mark a section within your house, within your kitchen, within your area that you can just go to on your own. So if you got certain dry foods that don't have leavening, you may want to set that aside so that you don't fall victim to going into just the regular general area and then subconsciously just, without paying attention, just grabbing something that you used to, and then you get caught off guard and probably eat something leavened. So if you can, try to make measures where you separate certain things if you're sharing a home with others, so that you don't consume through ignorance certain things that are leavened. All right, or you fall victim to temptation. As we know, usually what happens during our senses usually get heightened for those who may not be off work during the week, and you got to go to work, and you at work, and you seeing people bringing all. That's when and keeping in mind we're around the time of Easter. So sometimes when we have the Passover a little bit later, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, and it was like we were keeping the unleavened bread, and Easter had passed, and then you got people who come into the office, and they want to bring all their Easter cakes and cupcakes and cookies and everything else. It's like, hey, yeah, we living out. Just go ahead. I don't want to go to waste. And you're looking at it like, man, I got to get my mind on all this stuff. I'm trying to focus on this over here, and you bring in this. Man, it looks so good, right? That's why you try to separate yourself, right? That's what Israel used to do. They used to separate themselves from the nations when we kept the holy days, right? It's beautiful if you can get the whole week off, or you don't have to go around those things to get your mind on that. You can just focus solely on that. But for those who don't, this is the fight, right? This is the trial to try to overcome Satan and all his temptations. Try to focus on things that's going to keep you grounded, even if you're at work, right? Try to, sometimes I have the ability that I can, pull up the web page and just start reading scriptures, or I just have the matzahs there, and I'm just eating on the matzahs every now and again. Why? Because that's just now become my habit. I'm just eating it. Where they got the cookies over there and this over there, I'm just eating it. I'm eating this. So now I'm not hungry to want to go get it. And now I remember now what I'm doing. It's like, okay, my mind is focused. I'm eating these, man, they eating that stuff. They're not even following, but I'm doing this. So whatever means, whatever different type of ways that you can get yourself to keep focused, try so and do. Easy if you're home, but if you got to go to work, be creative. Be creative. Like I said this evening in class, even in the midst of adversity, Israel has found a way to be creative, right? Show some level of continuity to keep things going, even when certain things fall or break down, right? So one door closed over here, you find another way to get something going. So this is what we got to try to do, even when we are in a state where we can't fully do it the way we want to do it. All right. And then also the closing would be the following Sunday night, which is the 16th. And then the Feast of the Unleavened Bread ends on Monday night, the 17th. You can go back to your regularly scheduled channel of eating whatever you want, right? But usually for those of us who kind of find fun and joy in doing things creative during the Passover week or the Feast of Unleavened Bread, sometimes it carries over, right? Sometimes it's like the Day of Atonement when you're fasting and it's for the 24 hours, at least definitely for the 24 hours, and then the 24-hour hits. It may not be to the 28th hour or the 29th hour, or the 36th hour that you probably go and get something because it carried over, right? You wasn't rushing to go and find something. You was like, okay, man, I was able to do that. It's not that bad. So the same thing, you may find some good things that come out of, you know, eating healthy and removing the leavening and things out of your homes. You know, sometimes it's definitely a spiritual awakening because that is supposed to carry over to your spirit and to your mind and your thinking. But sometimes it's beneficial health-wise. It's definitely beneficial health-wise to eliminate all the processed food and the chemicals and all of that if you try to eat as healthy as you can. And sometimes you feel a little bit better, right? All right, so we're going to end here and do the closing prayers. Most High's will. Everybody has a Tuah remaining Sabbath day, as well as Lord's will will either hear or see the majority of us that's watching and listening during the Passover service on Monday night. All right, and if anybody still needs information pertaining to the Passover, once the Sabbath service is over and the prayers are ended, call back on the school conference line about give us about 15 minutes because we do the anointing after the prayers. So give us about 15 minutes if you have any other questions concerning the Passover, and we can talk with you at that time, or reach out directly to any of the other priests that's here in the school. All right. So with that, I'm going to say Shalom, Ashar Shabbat, or Happy Sabbath, and give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High and Yahweh Shah for the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that we have been privileged and blessed to be able to see, to be able to hear with our spiritual ears and spiritual eyes to draw us closer to our salvation. All right. And again, Shalom. Barakatha Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Nathalanawa, Parya Hagapin, Thawada Amun, La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Ath Yasha Allah. I might upon you, Jerusalem, stand and face Jerusalem. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Baba Kusha, Shamai, Lanawa, Aitha, Yum Yun, Aitha, Shalak, Maya Ka'ala, Waha Alahayim, Tazwadakim, La, Shema Isle, Barat, Rapa, Magun, Waha Kazayak, Bunya, Yasha Allah, Washalat, Lanawa, Rabium, Kakama, Rabium, Da'ai, Rabium, Bayana, Rabium, Sabalanwa, Rabium, Amawan, Rabium, Aqua, Rabium, Ahabium, Rabium, Hagana, Rochanaya, Wasalat, Ko, Kata Ayamnawa, Lahaakim, Wa'akiwa, Wayasha'ala, from Yad, Wa'iwalam, Bahasham, Yahawashai, so Wada, Aman. English translation, Yahweh, or the Most High, in the name of Yahawashai or Jesus, please listen to us now, right now, and send Michael and the righteous powers or angels to watch over, bless, heal, protect, and make strong the children of Israel. And send to us much wisdom, much knowledge, much understanding, much patience, much faith, much brotherhood, much love, much spiritual protection, and forgive all our sins for the brothers in Israel, always and forever, in the name of Yahawashai. Thank you, so be it. Four corners of prayer. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashai, Barak Noah, Wayasha Allah, Wabathia Saparim, Shema, Yasharella, Yahweh, Allah Hayanawa, Yahweh, Echad. All right, so we say Shalom Yasharella and Ashar Shabbat. Lord's will, we'll see each other soon. Shalom.